Hey everybody, it's Solimber again. I'm here to talk to you about Tera raids in general and how to not suck at them. If you've been doing random battles on Tera raids, you've probably encountered teams of people who just don't seem to know what they're doing. So today I'm going to help make sure you are not that person. And if you do encounter teams like that, to make sure you are able to contribute the most to make sure that you still don't lose. The first thing is an obvious one. Make sure you have a wide selection of Pokemon to choose from before you jump into random battles. Before you get that selection going, it's okay to host battles because then you can pick and choose which Pokemon you're battling and make sure you have an answer to that Pokemon. The second thing I want to suggest is to select a Pokemon that's defensively good against the Tera Pokemon's original typing. The second thing you should focus on is making sure you do at least neutral damage with your Tera type, so that you can do damage when the shield comes up. The third thing I want to suggest is to not be afraid to be a support Pokemon. You are more beneficial to your team as a support than you are as an attacker, especially if you are the only support Pokemon. Next, I want to tell you to just take your time when selecting Pokemon, especially in random battles, because if you wait for the teammates to pick their types and their Pokemon and everything, then you might be able to pick a fourth Pokemon that benefits them. For example, if everyone chooses a Pokemon that has Quark Drive, you might want to pop out a Pokemon that can set up Electric Terrain. Next, I want to just say Terrestrialize. A lot of people will just push through the battle without Terrestrializing. You see these a lot with the Belly Drum Pokemon who just don't know how Tera Battles work. But you do need to use Terrestrialization to break through Tera Shields a lot of times. The next thing I want to say is just don't ruin the group. You might have a belly drummer that you saw some YouTuber make, but if you don't know how to use it, you're going to throw the game, and nobody likes that. Next, don't set up early, because there's a good chance that the opponent Tera-type Pokemon will wash your stat boost. So early on in the game, focus more on getting them to put their shield up and getting your hits in. You really want to make sure you can Terrestrialize when the shield's up, so it's actually disadvantageous to go too quickly if you can't get through that shield. Next, don't ignore cheers. I know it goes back to being a support Pokemon, but using a cheer is not a waste of a turn. If you cheer to buff everyone's attack on your team, then everyone gets that buff and you've contributed more than if you had attacked that turn. Don't over cheer though, like don't run double attack cheers if someone else already run one, same with defensive cheers. Healing generally is always good. It keeps people alive. It's good to use that if your teammates, for example, have done belly drum setup. You can then cheer and help them stay in the game. Level up. Just level up. Be level 100 when doing Tera raid battles. If you are not level 100, then you should not be here. I know it sucks, I know it can be grindy, but stick to the 4-star and lower raids if you haven't gotten a Pokemon to level 100 yet, otherwise you will be dragging your teammates to the mud. Next, just don't join random teams if you're not ready. It's simple to understand why. Sometimes that's borderline being a troll. Get some practice in, get good at it, understand what you're doing, because you're not going to be having fun if you're ruining everyone else's play. And that's pretty much the list. I do want to add some tips here to Tera raid battles in general. You do have a 100% catch rate on Pokemon. You do have the ability to boost attack and defense. That attack and defense boost will stay if you faint, but it does get wiped if the opponent's Pokemon washes. These are separate multipliers from regular attack and defense boost, so do with that what you will. Next, I wanted to point out that speed doesn't really matter so much in these. So if you're going to focus on stats with EV training, you'll likely want to focus on HP and one of your attack stats. Some people might also want to focus on defense boosts and such. The next thing I want to talk about is screenings. Screens are incredibly beneficial to your team. If you have a Pokemon that you can put a screen on, then do so. Because if your Pokemon is able to half the type of damage that the opponent's Pokemon puts out, then again, you have increased the sustainability of your team, and you are, in fact, a legend. And that's all I have for you guys. The last thing I want to say is make sure you're having fun with this. Don't go into this if you're not enjoying yourself. Take a break sometimes if it gets frustrating, and overall, take care of yourself. Have a good day.